What's up, guys? It's your boy Justin with another book review. Almost a new book. This is not a new book. I don't read new books. Modern is trash, retro always wins. The steal quote from that anime snob. So yeah, today we're reviewing the dark fantasy novel Stone of Tears, which is the second book in the Sword of Truth series, written by Terry Goodkind, published by Tor Fantasy. I don't know why he doesn't have the fantasy there. Yeah, so this book was originally printed in 1995. This is one of the more recent reprints, which I bought used, and it's still in pretty good, it was in pretty good condition when I got it. I've been taking it to work. It's been getting messed up. So this book is about 979 pages long, last time I checked, which wasn't that long ago, since I just finished the book today. This book took me weeks to finish, mostly because I don't have a lot of free time. So yeah, before I start the review, I just want to let people know that if we get 2 likes and 25 views, we'll do a poll for the next book review. Okay? And we'll pick like 1 dark fantasy, 1 heroic fantasy, 1 light fantasy. Light fantasy being like, it's more for like younger readers, like, Harry Potter, Chronicles of Narnia, stuff like that, okay? Yeah, because sometimes when you read a grimdark, which I don't like the term grimdark, but when you read like a book like this, you want to like balance it off by reading something, a little less dark and depressing at times. Even though, just like the last book, this book had a good ending. So it's like a happy ending. Which was weird, because it was like, which is a spoiler, but it's like, considering how dark these books get, it's surprising they get it has good endings, right? Just like in the last book. So yeah, another thing is there's going to be probably a lot of spoilers, though I'll keep some of the spoilers vague. But yeah, it's the thing where it's like this is an ongoing book series, and I'm probably good by the time I get the next book. I'm probably gonna forget a lot of stuff because these books are thick, right? There's like 2 sorcerer characters from the first book that were in this book, and I thought they were the same. I forgot they were 2 separate people. I had my memories was so addled. I thought they were like the same person, right? Oh my god. So yeah, there's going to be spoilers, mostly so I could go back and watch these videos to remind myself what happened in the previous book, okay? But overall, I would say this book was good. If I were to give the book a rating, it's going to be in the description. Because I'm somewhere between a 7.5 out of 10 and 8 out of 10. So yeah, the book takes place not long after the end of the first book. Richard and Colin are hanging out in the Mud People's village, where they're about to get married, about to get married. There's still rising tensions between them and the Mud People because some of the Mud People blame Richard for some of their people dying, right? Mostly Chant Dallin, who's like a new character in the book who joins Colin's party. Because because in this book, a lot of the main characters go on separate journeys to achieve the same end, right? Like, Zed has to go on a journey to find Addie, the Bone Woman, because he needs her help. Chase and Rachel have to go after Richard because they need Richard's help. And Richard and Colin get separated when Richard done goofed, because he knew the wizard's first rule, but he didn't know the wizard's second rule, which is think about the consequences before you commit yourself to certain actions. That's basically a summary of the second rule. Because he done goofed because when he killed Darkenrall, his father, he was apparently supposed to kill him before he opened the Box of Orden. Because what ended up happening was he accidentally ripped the veil. And it turns out this universe, this fantasy world, has basically a Dark Lord figure that was in Darkenrall called the Keeper, who's basically the fucking devil. And when Richard torn the veil, the devil is trying to get the fuck out now and is sending demons after Richard and his party. And not only do we have fucking demons to worry about, which are not invulnerable, by the way. Sorry, not invincible or whatever. They're very fucking hard to kill. Sorry about the Seth Rogen laugh. But we also, turns out, the Keeper has agents, which are basically from normal people to sorcerers and wizards. Sorceress and wizards, who are also working with the Keeper and who are working for the Keeper and are trying to stir shit up, right? Which is one of the best parts of the books, because you don't know who people's true allegiances are. So so there's some pretty good epic anime betrayals that you don't see coming, right? So yeah, what ends up happening is that Richard, they expanded the lore of this world. It turns out the world that we thought was the main world, which was the Westland, the Midlands, and the Eastlands, which was Dahara, turns out is part of a single country, and that's called the New World, and that there's a different continent called the Old World, where there are still lots of wizards and sorcerers, right? Which are part of this faction called the Palace of the Prophets, where an order of sorceresses called the Sisters of the Light train wizards, right? Which they usually get them when they're young, and they sent Sisters of the Light to go after and to recruit Richard. But the problem is that they have to wear a collar, which inhibits their magic or lets the sorceresses control them, right? So obviously Richard does not want to go because he knows about the offers kink, which is femdom shit. And there is some femdom shit in this book, but thankfully Richard didn't simp. Richard only simped for Colin, which is his one true love. But unfortunately his heart gets broken when Colin forces him to put on the collar because Richard is now becoming a wizard, and his headaches basically the sorcerers lied to him, saying if he didn't put the collar on and go with them to learn how to learn magic, he would eventually die. It turns out that was bullshit. Zed could have taught him all along, which I fucking knew that. Richard knew that. Richard, well, suspected. He didn't know for sure. But, like, come on. You think someone like Dark and Raoul would put on a fucking collar and be, be forced to, like, be taught by sorcerers who are slutty nuns, basically, because part of what they did, they act like nuns, but really it turns out that the Palace of the Prophets is breeding wizards, and they kind of indulge the wizards to go out and fuck the Sisters of the Light because they want more wizards, right? Because the magic is thinning out. So yeah, so there's basically three different plot lines in this book. The main two are Richard gets captured and is forced to go on his journey with Sister Verna to go to the Palace of the Prophets so he can learn magic, so he can get the fucking collar off. While all that's going on, he's trying to escape. You have Colin trying to go on a journey with some of the Mud People to try to find Zed, only for them to be caught up in this war against this rogue army made up of different soldiers from different countries, mostly from the Dahara, and also some of the countries of the Midlands, right? Which they're called the Imperial Order, which wants to wipe out all people with magic and magical creatures, which Colin is sworn to protect. There's also a third plotline where Zed and Allie go on a journey where they also had to fight demon bones, but most of the book is Colin and Richard's point of view. Which, there's so much shit that goes on in this book. I was fucking surprised. Because I thought, well, there's like lots of books in this series. No way they're going to wrap everything up in this book. They did, and I was, like, pleasantly surprised, right? Yeah, because the book, they were able to wrap everything up within the last, like, 200 pages. Which I didn't expect them to do. So the book, okay, let's go to the positives of the book. The book is very smartly written. Not just from like the way the dialogue is and the story. Basically, like how the author like basically hints at stuff like red herrings that you didn't think were going to be important. That he's just like, you know, like just world building, but it turns out to be put in play later. How like every little detail like points to a bigger thing. Like there was a bunch of shit in the like how the Sisters of the Light do things where I'm like, okay, whatever. They're very controlling. They're very controlling. Turns out it was all for like a single goal, right? Like the way that how like characters manipulate each other. It's very Machiavellian, right? Where you think it's not like this isn't going to be a big deal, but then it is, right? Like especially some of the betrayals, like some of the characters turning out to be servants of the fucking keeper. Right, or how like certain characters are being manipulated to do things and like they don't realize at first, but then they fucking figure it out. Because Dark and Raw, like apparently, like I don't want to spoil it, but yeah. So the book there is some shit about the book, which there's lots of action, there's battles, right? Like I said, smartly written. There's great characters in the book. There's also problems with the book that a lot of people are going to have a problem with, and that this is a dark fantasy book, so there's some shit in here that there's scenes where people are getting tortured, women are being preyed upon by men, sometimes preyed upon by men, if you know what I fucking mean, because I can't say it. There's a bestiality scene where the witches have a ritual where they take the magic from a wizard they slain, and and take that magic and put it into another one of their own, a sorceress, right? But the only way to do that is put that essence inside a monster and let the monster couple with a woman. So there's a scene where there's bestiality, basically. Which I thought, oh, there's going to be a scene where, you know, Richard fights that monster, right? And it's going to be epic. No, he basically one-shots the monster. Which, there is some power creep problems in the book where well, you think it's going to be power creep, but Richard is now, like, super fucking powerful. But there is still danger because, yeah, like, because basically the bad guys have, like, there's magic weapons that called Dakra knives, where if they stab you with them, you're dead. It sucks the life out of you. The subtractive magic is basically one-shot magic, where if it hits you, so it's dead. So yeah, as powerful as Richard is now, if he gets hit once by a fucking bolt of subtractive magic, or if he gets backstabbed by a Dakra knife, he's dead. So yeah. So yeah, there is shit where, like, okay, there is some you would think would be power creep problems, but you know, they solved it well. My one problem with the book, which this is gonna sound really dumb considering about all the fucked up dark shit in the book, like there is a thing where like Richard does come off like a hypocrite, where he gets really pissed off at how the Sisters of Light treat horses, but at the end of the book, like he's trying to get to a place that he knows he's too late, right? He can't be there in time, but he still kills like a bunch of horses by running them, basically making them run to death. So it's like, well, Richard, like, what the fuck? You were giving like the one Sister Light the Sister Light bullshit for having like spade bits, which is like a thing that you put in the horse's mouth to control them that apparently hurts the horse. But then he kills a bunch of horses in the book, so it's like, what the fuck? Also, I forgot to mention, Richard gets like a new animal companion, which is a fucking which is a gargoyle, right? Took me a while to realize, oh my god, gar is short for gargoyle. Which is, oh my god, I'm so dumb for not fucking realizing that earlier. But yeah, despite the problems of the book, it's a great fucking book. Though people are not going to be, like, this book is not for everybody. And yeah, there's at least, if you don't count the bestiality scene, right, there's at least like 3 preyed up women being, preyed upon by men, and like, a forceful, like, you know what I mean. So yeah, if you're not a fan of that, yeah, Bill, 8 out of 10, love the book. It's not for everybody. Peace. I can't wait to read the next one.